I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. MAGA Republicans Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz just filed a completely frivolous federal civil rights lawsuit in the federal court for the Central District of California against the City of Riverside, an entity called Raincross Hospitality Management Corp., and about 12 civil rights and political organizations. And Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz claim that their civil rights have been violated based on viewpoint discrimination. They allege this is a violation of their rights under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983 and 1985. They're demanding a jury trial before the Central District of California. And this relates to an incident back in July of 2021, specifically July 17th of 2021, where Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they were touring the country giving their hate speeches, and they wanted to speak in the Riverside area in California. And first they tried to contract with a private banquet hall, which canceled. They then tried to contract with the Riverside Convention Center through who they allege is an agent of the City of Riverside and the Convention Center, Raincross Hospitality Management. And when the community said, we absolutely don't want this hate speech, that was canceled. Another venue was canceled. So then Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene held like a protest before one of the government buildings in the City of Riverside. And then they went to the beach to give a speech at like a nearby beach, where actually the MeidasTouch network was on site for that. And that's that famous moment where Walter Masterson, who goes out and trolls a lot of these MAGA Republican leaders, he was there posing as a MAGA Republican. You may remember this back from July of 2021, where he put his arm around Matt Gaetz and said to Matt Gaetz, "You're definitely not a pedophile." And Marjorie Taylor Greene was there. That's where the video footage captured Marjorie Taylor Greene's feet. And it was that she only had 3 toes. Like, it all came from this incident. Maybe that's what she's mad about. I want to talk to you about why this lawsuit, though, is just completely and utterly frivolous, why it's going to backfire on Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz. I think they're going to incur hundreds of thousands of dollars in sanctions here, potentially even up to $1 million in sanctions. This is very reminiscent of that frivolous federal lawsuit that Alina Habba filed for Donald Trump, where this scattershot lawsuit suing dozens of people that resulted in massive, massive sanctions. But first, just to remind you of the fallout when Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz couldn't speak in these venues. This is when they went to like a beach in California, and Walter Masterson was there. Here, play this clip.
Oh my God, I'm so excited! I'm so excited! I mean, everyone thinks you're crazy. I don't think you're crazy. People think you're a pedophile. I don't think you're a pedophile at all. I don't think he's a pedophile at all. The charges against him are totally false. They're totally false. Oh my God.
Okay, so going back to this lawsuit, one of the first things to note about this lawsuit is the lawyer, John Eastman, who is facing disbarment proceedings right now in the state of California. It's why it's so important that somebody like John Eastman lose his legal license, because let's just face it, he is a threat to the legal profession, and he uses his legal license to abuse process like this. And so Eastman's currently in these disbarment proceedings. He's the lawyer here. And of course, Eastman was involved in the plan to overthrow our democracy. It's my opinion that I think Eastman will lose his legal license at the conclusion of these proceedings. So that's who's filing it on behalf of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz. Let's look at the different individuals who are sued. So the City of Riverside sued, Raincross Hospitality Management Corp is sued, and then all of these other nonprofit groups and political groups are sued. So you've got the California LULAC State Organization, which is the League of United Latin American Voters. They're sued. The NAACP is sued. Unidos for la Causa is sued. Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is sued. The League of Women's Voter Riverside, Women's March Action, Riverside County, Occupy Democrats is sued. The Democratic Party is sued. They're sued, scattershot, suing all of these different people in the area. And why are these people being sued? There's the allegations that these groups were involved in a massive conspiracy with the City of Riverside and Raincross to prevent Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz from delivering the hate speech that they wanted to give. I mean, clearly, these groups, by their very nature, have a First Amendment right to speak out against hate speech within the area, within the United States. They could, wherever they can speak out against it, but they're being sued for that, claiming that they were involved in this massive conspiracy to somehow undermine Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz. Let's go into the fact section right now of the lawsuit. So just so you can see what's being alleged right here, this is what it says. It says, on or about July 8th of 2021, plaintiff Put America First entered into a contract with Pacific Hills Banquet and Catering to host a political rally at the Pacific Hills facility on July 17, 2021. On July 9, 2021, Rod Yacko, representing Pacific Hills, advised plaintiff Put America First that it was canceling the contract after the owners of Pacific Hills received a barrage of phone calls and emails regarding the event. And next talks about the Riverside Convention Center and City of Riverside. It says, plaintiff Put America First subsequently entered into a contract on July 14, 2021 with defendant Raincross, the agent of defendant Riverside, to rent the Riverside Convention Center, which is owned by defendant Riverside, as the venue for its July 17, 2021 political rally. On July 15, 2021, plaintiff Put America First entered into an additional contract with the Police Department of Defendant Riverside for the provision of extra duty police personnel to provide security for the July 17, 2021 political rally, following the requests and threats from some members of the public and third-party defendants, referring to all of those nonprofit groups. The defendant Riverside City's council called an emergency meeting to overturn the booking on the ground that the political views expressed by Greene and Gaetz aren't welcome in Riverside, and other demands that defendant Riverside cancel the event. Defendant Raincross notified the plaintiffs at 6:49 p.m. on Friday, July 16, 2021, less than 24 hours before the event was scheduled to begin, that they would not proceed with the event. Defendant Raincross asserted that it was canceling the event because of a certificate of insurance issue. The complaint then goes on to cite Riverside City Council members like Ronaldo Flores, who asserted that, quote, he voiced his opposition to holding the event because of what he described as the hateful and white supremacist rhetoric by what he called two well-known extremists who he asserted have absolutely no place in our city. Local residents urged Riverside's mayor and city council to, quote, bring all possible pressure to bear on defendant Raincross to cancel the event. Defendant Lulac threatened a statewide national boycott of the Riverside Convention Center and threatened to contact all organizations scheduled to hold events at the center to request that they cancel if the defendant City of Riverside did not cancel its event. And then it goes and cites some of the groups saying that. It then goes on to say that Greene and Gaetz tried to book at the Grand Theater. They thought they could book at the Grand Theater, but then that was canceled, so they had to hold a protest outside of the city council building. And for that, they say their civil rights have been violated. There is a 2-year statute of limitation on bringing a federal civil rights claim, so they filed right before the statute of limitation was set to expire. Event was July 18th of 2021. They filed right before July 18th of 2023. But these aren't valid civil rights claims. These are not civil rights defendants. These are not civil rights plaintiffs here. The defendants are actually civil rights groups trying to ensure that people's rights are protected. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, Put America First joint fundraising committee filing this completely frivolous lawsuit. And there's barely even any allegations against all of these other groups about why they'd be responsible at all. So here's what I think is going to happen now. And again, this is very Trumpian tactic by Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz. They're going to use their political action committee money to file a case like this. And then when they get sanctioned, they're going to use the money they've grifted off their followers. But this case was assigned to federal judge Hernan de Vera. You can see the initials up there, HDV. Hernan Vera was appointed by President Biden, confirmed in the past year, very well established Superior Court judge. So the fact that he's the judge overseeing this, you don't have like a MAGA Republican judge who doesn't follow the law. I expect Judge Vera to follow the law here. Just even suing the cities is procedurally, wrong about what the liability the city has. The cities have all of this immunity. There's a ton of First Amendment immunity and protections by the defendants here, who will undoubtedly bring what's called anti-SLAPP motions. These are motions that one, you can recover attorney's fees if you prevail for cases trying to chill free speech, like the one by Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz here. So what I expect that we're going to see is about, a dozen plus motions that are going to be filed to dismiss, anti-SLAPP motions, and I think we'll see what's called Rule 11 sanctions, which we talk about a lot with Donald Trump being sanctioned for Rule 11. Ultimately, John Eastman kind of being utilized here as kind of a kamikaze lawyer. He's about to lose his law license based on the bar proceedings. Anyway, filing these completely frivolous case. But ultimately, I want to see Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz individually sanctioned for this despicable, desperate lawsuit. Come on. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers. Thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast and have an excellent day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.